to 911, much emergency. I got up this morning. I was in my son's room, so they didn't sleep. My back door was open. My husband's done. They're all gone. And there's blood on the bed, and he is struggling foam stuff out of his mouth. And he's making it god-awful.
January 2007. Outside Waco, Texas, the murky surface of a small pond sits eerily still. Few would suspect that this quiet place would become tied to a murder case that shocked the community. At the center of it all are Darlene Gentry, a nurse, mother of 3, and former high school homecoming queen, and her husband, Keith Gentry. What once appeared to be a normal family life would soon unravel into tragedy as the wife slowly became the prime suspect in her husband's death.
Just tell me in your own words y'all's activity from last night to this morning.
Well, I didn't get home until probably around 8 o'clock, maybe a little later than that. I had to go to Temple. I had a friend of mine that was down there. And so I went to go see how she was doing. He had the boys. And I got in, I said maybe about 8:15, something like that. And of course, Chase, was the oldest, was passed out on his bed. He was tired from school. And changed diapers, got him ready for bed. Laid with him for a little bit, just trying to get him to chill out. And then Keith and I sat down and talked in the living room, just about normal things, and of course money and everything else, and what we need to do to, to get out of debt and everything else. And
What time was that?
oh, we didn't go to bed until almost 11. So I'd say anywhere between 9:30 to 11 or so. We were in the living room talking. Well, take that back. Probably till 10:30 or so, because then I went into the shower.
Okay.
And then he was already turning out the lights and everything when I got out of the shower. And
Y'all go to bed in the same room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We always start out that way.
Okay.
And the kids were all sleeping in one room. And between 1 and 1:30, the middle one started hollering. So I went in there.
What's the
Cody.
Cody?
He's 2.5.
Okay.
So I went in there trying to calm him down. Got him not back to sleep, but I just told him he had to lay down and hush and quit hollering because he's going to wake everybody else up. And then I went back to bed. And
Back to y'all's room?
yeah, back to our room. And probably about an hour after that, Cade, the youngest one, was up hollering. So I went and put the pacifier back in his mouth.
How was Kate?
19 months. Went and put the pacifier back in his mouth and tried to get him to chill out, and he drifted on back to sleep. And so I went back to our room, and I guess I was in there until about 3:15, 3:30, something like that. And changed clothes because I had shorts, a little short night set thing, and I was freezing, so I put the longer ones on and went in there with them, laid down at the foot of the bed. And by this time, Chase was up, the oldest, wanting something to drink, and I told him he had to go to the bathroom, so he went to the bathroom, went and got him something, a drink of water or something on the refrigerator, and he came back, and Cody and Kate were both up, so we put Homeward Bound on, which is one of their favorite movies, and we just kind of laid there. And before I do it, I was asleep, and apparently everybody else was too, until almost 6. I do remember waking up probably about 5:15 or so, and I rolled over and looked at his clock and said, I'm not getting up. I didn't have to be up till about 5:45, so I said, I'm going to take my extra 30 minutes. And before I knew it, apparently it was back out, and then Kate's jumping on my head, the oldest, and it was 5 minutes after 6 by his clock.
When officers arrived at the home, something immediately felt off. There were no broken windows, no forced entry, and no signs of the chaos typically left behind by a violent intruder. Even stranger, the guns that were supposedly stolen were stacked neatly near the door. While Keith was fighting for his life, Darlene's reaction didn't resemble that of a frantic wife in shock. Instead, it felt more like someone carefully trying to control the narrative before investigators even began asking questions.
And then you said about 6 o'clock is when you got up.
Yeah, it's 6.
Tell me the events about that and what woke you up, or
Literally him jumping on my head. The baby jumping on my head is what physically made me realize I'm already late. I need to get up, get moving, and ran to the hall bath. And then I ran into the kitchen to get the boys something to drink. Gave them that. They're following me. And I told Chase that Dad's alarm's going off again, as usual. And he's hollering, Daddy, turn it off. And I'm going, Keith, turn off your alarm. And I got to the little foyer, like by our bedroom. And I told Chase, I said, it's cold in here. And that's when I saw the back door open, which is the, I guess you say side door, not really the back door. And so all I did was go into the room, turn on my lamp, and I just slammed the door shut. And when I turned around, I realized the gun cabinet was open and there were no guns inside of it. And so then I screamed at Keith, telling him that his guns were not in the gun cabinet, that he needed to get up. And the boys were already in the bedroom. Cade was crawling up on my hope chest that's by my bed, and all I did was tell him to get down because I could hear the noise however you wanted. Sorry.
it's okay. Take your time.
He snores, so I kept thinking it just sounded different. It didn't sound like he always snores. So I flipped the light on in the bathroom, and when I turned around, I could see his stomach, like he was breathing with all of his muscles that he had in his abdomen. And then I realized that he had foam coming out of his mouth. And I tried to holler at him, told him Keith, and I kind of hit him. And didn't make any other noises than what he was already making. And then I realized I saw blood on the sheet. And then that's when I just grabbed my cell phone. Of course, it was off, so I had to wait for it to turn on. And I'm trying to get the boys.
Do y'all not have any house phones, just cell?
We just got rid of it, trying to find ways to save money. So, and actually, it's only been turned off for a little over a week. And we were just trying to save $40. And so I had to wait for my cell phone to turn on, and I just punched in 911. I was trying to get the boys out of the room because I didn't want them seeing him. And that's when I made the call, and I told her who it was and where I lived and what he was doing and what I saw. And she dispatched police right away and kept me on hold, and I had to talk to the EMS people. And then I remember letting the police officer in the front door, but I don't remember if I hung up on the EMS people. I have no idea.
So you were talking to the police dispatcher, and she transferred you to the EMS people.
Okay.
Inside the interrogation room, Darlene began describing the previous night with a rhythm that felt almost rehearsed. She talked about arriving home, changing diapers, putting the kids to bed, and even the movie they watched together. These details sounded harmless, ordinary domestic moments, but detectives noticed something unusual. In truly traumatic situations, people tend to focus on the emotional shock. Darlene, however, seemed more focused on constructing a timeline packed with small, safe details.
Did you hear any peculiar noises throughout the night from I don't know, you start getting up about 1:30 with Cody,
Mm-hmm.
and then an hour later with Cade, and then about 3:15, 3:30 with Chase.
Other than the dogs barking, and Gunner's normally, we've had him for the puppy. We've only had that other dog for a couple of weeks, maybe a week, something like that. Gunner's normally very good and doesn't just bark and bark and bark. But he was carrying on, and I hollered at him once to stop it. And I honestly, I do not know. I don't know if it wasn't the first time I got up, because I don't remember hearing him then.
You a heavy sleeper or a light sleeper?
Normally, I've been having issues sleeping, period, here lately. Normally I'm fairly, I'd say light just because of kids, but once they wake me up, I'm very light. But that first, when I go out, I'm out until I get woke up. But I can't tell you.
So it's kind of in between heavy and light.
Yeah.
So Gunner was barking, and that's the older dog. You have two dogs.
Yeah. He's 9 months. But and even Keith made comments that some dogs just yelp and yelp and yelp. He does it unless he sees something or somebody's walking or something like that. Every once in a while, we have them greyhounds that are behind us, and they'll get wound up and he'll bark at them, but it's normally not too much of an issue. And he was barking last night, and I opened up the French doors and I fussed at him, told him to get on the porch and hushed, and he came over here and laid down.
That was when? The other night?
No, that was this past night.
Last
night. But it wasn't the first time I got up. It had to have been in between when I got up at 2 something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know it wasn't when I had my pants on, and I didn't change into those until I went and laid down physically with the boys, because I was standing at that back door freezing in my shorts.
Okay. So, because at 3:15, 3:30 is when you got up to change clothes from shorts because you were cold.
Yeah.
And you got up with Chase then.
Well, it was actually the baby that was hollering, but Chase was awake too.
Okay.
And I just made him go to the bathroom until he wanted something to
So,
drink.
the dog was sometime between 1:30 and 2 something is when you went out to the door.
Yeah.
Did you see anything?
No, and we've got a light that's back there by that gray shed, that tin shed, and it doesn't illuminate a lot of things, but I mean, I didn't notice anything different because there's always shadows out there just because of all the trees and stuff we have.
Is it a motion light?
No, it's on all the time. I mean, when it's dark.
Dark. So the light stays on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it one of those lights that come on when it goes dark and goes off? Okay.
Yeah. And we don't have to physically turn it on and off.
That's on the back corner of the house?
No, that's out by the
Tree line or?
silver shed that Keith built. It's at the back of our fence. Not the back of our property, the back of our fence. And where Gunner ran from when I hollered at him, he was in between the back fence and the where our trampoline's at.
Okay, so he barking.
But I don't know which direction he was barking at. I just know that's the area he ran from and came and laid down.
Back fence and trampoline.
But Willie has the guy that owns land behind us, got several horses and a donkey and all kind of stuff back there too. So, I don't pay any attention to, because he'll bark at them too. But
That was about
roughly maybe between 2:15 and 2:30 because it was almost like every hour they were getting me up. Just that time I'd get good and asleep, somebody would go to hollering.
Any problem with any of the neighbors? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No. No, I mean, I have in-laws all the way around me. And definitely not with my mother-in-law and father-in-law.
They live on the east side of you.
You're talking to people. If left or right. If I'm looking at my house, I'm going left.
It's on the left.
Yeah, I'm not good with direction.
And your husband's sister lived on your right.
With her husband and her 2 boys and her oldest son's now wife and their little baby.
Wow, so she's got a grandson.
Grandbaby girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and they always had people, like younger kids running around and stuff, but we never had any issues with them. I mean, it's not a...
At night, y'all lock up?
Normally. I mean, it's normally not... We normally don't leave anything open except our vehicles. And I know I did go throw out... Cody had poop. I guess that was why he woke me up at 1:30. He had pooped in his diaper and wanted to be changed. And I know I did go out the side door to throw the poopy diaper in a Walmart bag in the black barrel out there like we always do. But honestly and truly, I don't remember if I physically locked the door back. So I'm not going to say one word or the other because I don't know.
So you went out that side door, throw a poopy diaper out. About what time?
That was when he woke up the first time at 1:30.
1:30.
Mm-hmm.
But normally the doors are locked except the vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep the keys in the vehicles. Did you notice anything odd in that den area when you went through?
No, I mean, honestly, I didn't even turn the lamp on. So, I mean, I keep as many lights off as possible just because, and I mean, I just normally walk through. And I physically unlock the door to get out because it's hard to kind of unlock because it kind of sticks in the deadbolt does.
Yeah.
And that's normally the only one we lock on that door is the deadbolt.
When she described the morning everything happened, her tone remained strangely steady. She said she noticed the door open and the gun cabinet empty before realizing Keith was lying in bed, barely breathing. But what caught investigators' attention wasn't just what she said, it was what she didn't say. There was no immediate fear that an intruder might still be in the house, no instinctive rush to protect the children, no frantic panic. The room that morning wasn't just cold from the Texas dawn, it felt cold because of the emotional distance in Darlene's response.
You mentioned y'all were trying to save some money. Have y'all been having some financial problems? Or?
Well, we're just, this third kid, and it's killing us basically. So we've just been trying to butt heads, figure out which way, because of course we are getting behind on some bills, and it's just been one thing after another. So we're trying to figure out how we need to go about it, and we were discussing if we needed to do a home equity loan, that line of credit that they're talking about. I'm doing it just to pay everything off, so that way we wouldn't be late on anything, and because that's the one thing Keith is a fanatic about is his credit, and I'm the world's worst at it, so.
Y'all argue about that a lot?
Well, we don't, I wouldn't say we argue a lot about it, but we do argue about it. I mean, it's not something we argue every day about, but we do argue about it. I'd say at least every 2 months or something like that, we're getting into a heated discussion. Well, why didn't you pay this one instead of, and he's fussing at me for juggling things and trying to, waiting almost to the last minute to pay something so that way we made sure nothing bounced.
Right.
So, but other than that, that's the only true issues we even have.
How was the marriage?
Fine. Other than trying to figure out how to raise these 3 kids. And that's what I was telling you last night. I finally got my year raise 2 months later.
Raises are hard to come.
No, they actually gave me $2. So I was excited, and so was he.
So he works at Brazos Electric.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been working there?
I think it'll be 4 years in March.
And you work.
You can put WGEC is the Waco Gastroenterology Endoscopy Center. EC. It's owned by Waco Gastro and Associates.
Gastrointestinal. Waco Gastro.
You're getting me confused. Waco Gastroenterology Endoscopy Center.
How long have you been working there?
It was a year this past September.
Y'all have insurance through y'all's prospective companies, life insurance, health insurance.
Our health and dental is through Keith's work, and I just filled out a thing to put him and the boys possibly on mine because Bryce is talking about going up again, but that's not set in concrete yet. And I think with Brazos there's a small life insurance like on the boys, like maybe a 10,000 or something like that with them. And then Keith and I both have life insurance with Farm Bureau.
That comes out of y'all's check.
No, that's a direct draft.
Keith seemed depressed about the money issue, or
Well, I mean, he hasn't been himself the last probably, I don't know, year and a half or so. And I know he's stressed just because, I mean, it's a lot. He's one of those firm believers that, you know, he's supposed to be the man of the house and he's supposed to be making the money, and I tell him all the time he should have been born back in the early 1900s. But I don't know. And, you know, never been diagnosed with depression. But me and his mother, we had a pretty heated discussion, I guess, actually on my birthday, the 2nd of November.
did she disagree with you, or?
Oh, no. I mean, because he just flies off the handle and he gets so upset. And I know it has nothing to do with the person that he's talking to. It's just everything is finally built up, and then he just...
So you and your mother-in-law had a heated discussion about Keith?
Yeah, and I was venting, basically, just talking about how... Because he'll lose it with the kids, and then I get upset, and it just...
Was she on your side, or y'all just...
Oh, she absolutely loves her son. Do not get me wrong, because... And he loves her. It's just, he has never known how to talk to his parents or me. It's like he's afraid to show his emotion. So let's get mad about it. And I said it to her, and he's admitted it to me that he knows by some form or fashion he is depressed, but he would never do anything about it. I mean, that's...
Think he's capable of hurting himself?
No. I mean, I honestly, truly, he loves them boys too much. I mean, there's no way. There's no way. I mean,
But if he's that depressed, or if he loves those boys that much, he doesn't want to see them do without, do you think he would do something to himself to see that they don't do without, with insurance?
I mean, I honestly and truly, deep down in my heart, do not believe he would do that. I really don't, just because.
And I understand. You know, I'm having to ask some really, really personal questions.
I know.
I appreciate you bearing with me on this.
I mean, I really...
And I didn't have a great amount of time to examine y'all's house and in the bedroom, but just, and he was not there when I got there. They were already loading into the ambulance, but
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. It is quite all right.
I'm sorry. I just.
It was quite all right. You want to take a small break?
It's not going to make any difference. I mean, he may have been depressed, but I still, honestly, truly don't believe he would do that. I really don't, just because that's all he ever talks about is teaching Chase how to play baseball. I mean, that's what he wants. He's always wanted to Chase to play baseball. I mean, because that's what Keith did. And of course, every man wants their boys to be just like them, except for, you know, and he would tell Chase after he'd get upset, he'd tell him and he'd sit him down and say, you know, Daddy shouldn't have acted that way. You know, that was wrong. I don't want you acting that way. I meant he would step up every time. Anytime he knew he messed up, he would step up and admit it. I mean,
He was a little overbearing on it and stuff.
yeah, and he would. He loved them too much. I mean, and I think that's why I'd get frustrated is because he wanted them to be more than what they were being. He would just forget that they're 5, 2, and 1. I mean, you know, they were his world.
And you being his wife, loving your husband, saw the blood on the sheets. Was there any weapons on the bed?
I honestly saw nothing other than just the foam coming out of his mouth, and I tried to shake him. And when I tried to shake him, that's when I noticed something by his head, and I kind of leaned in more to look, and that's when I went to hollering at the kids, "Get out, get out, get out."
What did you see?
I just saw the red, and I automatically assumed it was blood just because, I mean, and so that's when I started calling, and it was just like I don't know.
I've got crime scene people at your house right now. They're going to be searching the house, you know, the grounds and all that. Any problems between you and Keith that I need to be aware of? I mean, you know, we discussed earlier that, you know, also, since I read your rights, Vi's talking, you're waiving your rights. You understand what waiving your rights means. It means you agree to talk to me at any time until you want your rights back, then you can stop. You don't think he would have harmed himself?
I mean, honestly, deep down in my heart, I really do not think he would have.
I'm sorry.
I said, honestly and truly, deep down in my heart, I do not believe he would have.
Any promise between you two guys? Any outside y'all's marriage affairs or anything like that?
No, strictly the only problems we've ever had has been money. So, I mean,
He hadn't been abusive to you or anything like that?
No, I mean, he's never hit me, no.
Just
Talking.
verbally abusive?
Yeah. I mean, and that's, everybody gets that way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, nothing.
Would it have made you angry enough to harm your husband?
I mean, I love my husband. And that's what I was telling him last night, that it's half of my fault that we're in the position that we're in. And that I was in tears last night talking to him, and he was hugging me and everything else. No, I mean, we have been through so many things. There's no way.
How long y'all been married?
6.5 years. I mean, granted, there's been times I swore I was leaving, and there's been times he swore he was leaving, but I would never hurt him.
Yeah.
So I would do absolutely nothing but harm the boys. I mean, if anything had happened to either one of us, they would be the people that would suffer.
Yeah.
When detectives asked about unusual sounds during the night, Darlene repeatedly mentioned the dogs barking outside. Subtly, it planted the idea that someone might have been around the property. She remembered tiny details, the backyard light, a dirty diaper bag, the exact times the children woke up. Yet when it came to the most critical detail, whether the side door had been locked, her memory suddenly failed. In investigations like this, selective memory can be more suspicious than a direct lie.
Did you at any time touch him?
Well, I mean, I know I physically did. I mean, like I shook his leg when I was trying to get his attention, but phone's in my pocket. I just turned it on.
The reason I asked is we got some rangers at the house, some Texas Rangers. They're assisting with the crime scene stuff. They found what they think might be blood in y'all's bathroom sink.
I don't know. As I said, I haven't, other than touching his leg, that is the only part I believe I touched of him.
So you don't remember going after touching maybe any bloody area?
No, I was literally, my cell phone was on my dresser, which is on his side of the bed. When I couldn't get him to respond to me, I turned directly from there, picked up the phone and, turned it on. And then, of course, had to wait for the service to hit and hit 911. And I had the kids and I was corralling them.
But you never at any time went to that sink?
Not to my knowledge, by any form or fashion.
When y'all walk in y'all's bedroom,
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I guess the door is still right there.
Yeah.
Well,
it's actually, it's the hallways right here. We have another little door, and the gun case sits right here.
Okay, so this is where the door would be that goes outside the drive. I got you.
Yeah.
So the gun case is right here.
Yeah.
Where's the keys kept for this?
On top.
Who all knows that?
Honestly, I don't know. And the officer there asked me, could you see it from the top? And I told him, I mean, of course, I can't, but I've noticed Keith, like when he's going to look, he has to get up on his toes a little bit. And he's 5'9". But as long as he stands on his toes.
Do you know how many guns in the house?
I know he had his deer rifle, which was in a case all by itself in the back room. And that was only because it was still left out.
Plastic case, hard case?
It's hard. It's a hard case.
Hard case.
But it's portable.
Okay, hard case. Okay.
And then I know he had some type of handgun. Don't ask me what it is because I have no idea.
Okay. Was it any type of case?
I honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
And in the gun cabinet itself, I know just walking back and forth, there might have been 3 guns in there. And one of them actually might have been a BB gun. I don't know. His dad would be the one to actually ask those questions because that's not anything I mess with. And the boys will jack with the thing all the time. And I'm always holding them, get away from there because.
And I really appreciate your patience with me on this, Darlene, but I'm trying to figure out with you dealing with the kids, and you're kind of a half hard sleeper, half light sleeper, and you could hear the kids, but there had to have been a gunshot that went off inside that house, and gunshots are loud.
And that's what I keep trying to physically rack my brain about. I had the door closed to the kids' bedroom, but our bedroom, we always keep it open. And
was it open when you went down the hall?
It was open because I was hollering at him to turn his alarm clock off.
Does Keith normally sleep on his back?
You know, normally never, but in probably the last couple of weeks, he's gotten to where he snores really bad, and that's when he's snoring, is when he's laying on his back.
Right.
And so, but normally he lays on his side.
What side? Facing you or facing away?
I'd say majority-wise, probably facing the wall, opposite of me. Normally, just
Is he a heavy sleeper?
very much so. That's why I'm the one that's always up with kids.
Yeah. All right. So you and your husband were talking last night about your finances. From 5 to 8, you were in Temple. You got home around that.
Mhm.
So did you cook supper? Was supper ready?
I cooked it before I left,
Okay.
and I had the boys.
So you didn't eat though?
No.
Because you ate your plate, right?
Right. I made him a plate, made the boys a plate, and it was gone. And I just made hamburger helper.
I love it.
It's quick and easy.
So you went to Temple, met her at Bud Records. Did you have to pick her up since your kid was in the shop?
No, actually, she was already at the mall, so I have no idea how or
She got
who.
there.
Yeah. I just met her at the entrance. And she told me she had some other things to do and she would be fine.
Y'all entertain guests at the house often, or friends coming over?
I mean, we used to a lot, and here lately we've both gotten so busy, it just, we will definitely have normally every June and end of August and in March have huge parties at the house, supposedly for kids' birthday parties, but it turns into adult parties and everything else. So, and we're talking anywhere from probably 35 up to 90 people sometimes.
So a lot of people knew what the inside of y'all's house looked like, weapons and all that.
Yeah, because it's all been the same. I haven't changed much of anything.
Like I said, Darlene, I really appreciate your help in this. I'm just trying to sort out the events that occurred and you not hearing a gunshot. Just kind of confused a little bit. Can you tell me?
The only thing I can say is I did wake up and I looked at the clock at 5:15, but I don't know why I woke up. I just remember rolling over and seeing the clock. It said 5:15, and I said,
Any other noise in the house?
no, I heard absolutely nothing.
Does it concern you that someone could have been in the house?
Oh, yeah, because I did not get scared until I turned around and I saw the guns were gone out of the gun case. The gun case was empty.
That
I
was
did
around
not,
6.
yeah, and I did not get scared until that point because I'm there a lot of times for the kids by myself.
But you don't know if you left that door open.
Yeah, I'll be very honest. I remember unlocking it because it said it's very hard to unlock.
Do you
And
remember locking it?
that's what I'm saying. I do not physically remember if I locked it or didn't lock it.
But when the police got there, was it unlocked?
They came in the front door.
Did you have to unlock the front door?
Yes. Yeah. And I had to unlock the French doors when I hollered at Gunner to get up on the porch too.
Did you lock those back?
And, I assume I did the French doors, but I don't know. I'll be very honest, I don't know. And the front door, I never touched it again after I let him come in. The officer. So, but it was locked. And I was still on the phone with the dispatch. And as I can say, between when I went...
So you did unlock the front doors when you threw the dirty diaper out and hollered at Gunner.
The French doors is in the back.
Right.
I had to do that when I unlocked it, but when I did the dirty diaper, it's on the side door.
Side door, okay.
And I had to unlock it.
But you think you unlocked the French door? Did you?
I I'm almost positive I locked the French door back.
Excuse me. That thought, interruption. That was my partner again. The detective I've got at the hospital said that they need the wife there to make some medical decisions on behalf of your husband. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you'll just bear with me just a few more minutes, I'm going to get you to the hospital. Until I can sort through what's going on, Darlene.
Mm-hmm.
You listening to me?
Yes, I'm listening.
Everyone's a suspect right now until I can determine how your husband suffered this gunshot wound. That's not to take away that he could have done it himself. You understand this?
Yeah.
If there was a gun on that bed and you moved it to save his integrity or anything like that, I need to know now.
I did not move a gun.
Okay. Did you harm your husband?
No, I did not harm my husband.
You and I have been working. We've built a pretty good relationship here. You know, I'm trying to figure out what happened.
I know.
That's all I'm trying to do right now. I may need to collect a DNA sample from you, Darlene, like I explained to you a while ago when I read you your rights.
Uh-huh.
It's just a process of elimination. Until I can figure out who else was in y'all's home, everyone in my mind is responsible for what's going on. Okay, because you're the only one that was in the house that can tell me what's going on.
I know.
Kids can't tell me. Your husband can't tell me right now. Yeah, and I apologize. I'm trying to be just as sensitive as I can. I've got counselors on standby, and we'll deal with them later. Okay. And I really appreciate you working with me with this, because you're going to have to help me.
I know. And the only thing that I can say of maybe why I didn't per se it registered that was a different sound maybe when it went off is because I did have the movie going and the door was shut to that room.
You mean the sound at 5:15?
Yeah, whatever or why I woke up because the movie was just about to go off.
Do you know of anybody that was going to come into the house?
No. No one should have been
the
coming.
door unlocked for someone to come in the house.
No, I mean, no one should have been in my house, period, except for us. And that's my mother-in-law.
Well, and if you need to tell her anything, we're just going to get your clothes changed and we're going to get you to the hospital.
Okay.
The interrogation gradually shifted toward deeper issues: money, stress, and tension within the marriage. Darlene admitted the family had been struggling financially and argued about bills from time to time. Keith, she explained, was deeply concerned about credit and responsibility as the provider. In small communities around Waco, families often work hard to maintain the appearance of stability. But behind closed doors, financial pressure can quietly erode relationships and sometimes push people toward desperate decisions.
This was a circumstantial case. It wasn't what I'd call a slam dunk. It was not one of these cases where you have a confession or a bunch of eyewitnesses.
As the interview continued, investigators became increasingly troubled not just by Darlene's story, but by her emotional detachment. Throughout the questioning, she rarely asked about Keith's condition and never urgently requested to be taken to the hospital. For someone whose husband had just been critically injured, that reaction was unusual. Sometimes it isn't the words that reveal the truth, but the absence of the emotions you would normally expect to see.
She called that next day and said, did the pond come with the land? I said, yeah, that's part of it. She said, well, that's great because Keith always wanted a place for his kids to go fishing.
It had been something Keith would have really wanted. It had huge oak trees. It was a beautiful place.
After Keith died, investigators were still missing the most critical piece of evidence: the murder weapon. Months passed, and Darlene began searching for a new place to rebuild her life. She became interested in a piece of land surrounded by oak trees and a quiet pond, exactly the kind of peaceful property many Texas families dream about. At first, she seemed excited about the pond, even imagining her children fishing there one day. But not long after, she suddenly insisted the pond be filled in. That abrupt change raised suspicions.
Walked it, looked at it, she got ready to go. Then she said, well, you can take your bulldozer and push that pond in now.
I said, I guess fill it in. I said, because to me, it'd be safer for the kids.
I said, aren't y'all missing the murder weapon? And he said, yeah. I said, this don't seem right to me.
First she wanted the water, now she doesn't want the water. My first thought was, as his, that she had thrown the weapon in the tank.
Those suspicions eventually led investigators to search the bottom of the pond. Beneath the muddy water, divers recovered a .22 caliber pistol, the same type of weapon believed to have killed Keith. But detectives didn't immediately reveal everything. Instead, they quietly set a trap. They marked the location where the gun had been found and created the impression that the pond would soon be drained. If Darlene had nothing to hide, she would have no reason to return.
Robinson 911, much emergency. I got up this morning. I was in my son's room so they didn't sleep. That door was open. My husband's done. They're all gone. And there's blood on the bed, and he is struggling foam stuff out of his mouth. And he's making it god-awful today.
Just because I wasn't screaming at the top of my lungs does not mean that I wasn't worried about what was going on.
She was the only suspect that they ever focused on.
Their defense was, well, Robinson police had her nailed from the beginning. They just wanted to get her. They knew it was her. They never looked beyond Darlene Gentry.
And then, exactly what they suspected happened. Darlene returned to the pond, stepping into the murky water with a stick, probing the exact area where the gun had been located. Hidden cameras captured the entire moment. The image of her standing alone in the gray water, searching desperately for something she believed was still hidden, shattered the careful story she had maintained since the 911 call. In that moment, the truth began to surface.
She got pretty shook up. You could tell it rattled her.
I called Robinson Police Department and I said, you're not going to believe what we've got on video.
When investigators pieced together the entire story, the staged scene, the unusual behavior during the emergency call, the selective memory gaps, and the attempt to retrieve the weapon, the case became clear. More than a year after Keith Gentry was shot, a jury found Darlene Gentry guilty of murder. She was sentenced to 60 years in prison. The case closed with a heavy verdict, but it left behind a haunting reminder. Sometimes the most dangerous person isn't a stranger in the dark. It's someone who once shared the same home.